Oh yeah. I just got off the phone with RT, with his wife, and they're doing well. We were talking about the things that they do in the whorehouse, you know, the steeple place. They do terrible things in there. Made up stuff. Wormwood. Wormwood is, we were talking a little bit about that. Wormwood is when you alter the words of Yahusha, or the words of Yahuwah, same being, and they were saying that they just walked out of this place. They just walked in. There was no steeple, but they were talking about G-O-D and J-E-S-U-S and all these fake things, and things that people they shouldn't be saying and they shouldn't be doing. And the fertility festivals, eggs, bunnies. How's Yahusha involved in that exactly? People are familiar with stuff and they shouldn't be. Well, in this episode, I wanted to ask you, I was inspired by a question that someone left in the last video. You know, the last video was basically covering how Yahusha named us, the Natsarim. We were prophesied to be Nazarene. We were to appear in the last days. Yirmiyahu, they call him Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 6, were mentioned, you know, on the mountains of Ephraim. Natsarim will arise in the last days. And the question that was left was a simple question, a very good question. What denomination are you? They were asking me what my denomination was. That was a great question. It's foundational. Those who know Yahusha realize denominations are all illegitimate. There can be no divisions in his word or his body. Yahusha told us if we abide, that is to live and continue in his word, that we are truly his pupils. That's it, Yahuchanan 8:31 through 32. And he named us his Nazarene in Yahuchanan 15:5, as we mentioned in the last video. Now, Paul was a prisoner for at least 2 years at Caesarea, in prison, in chains, awaiting some kind of decision under Felix. And of course, Felix, in those 2 years, left the reign. But during the time that Paul was first arrested, he was called a ringleader of the sect of the Natsarim. Now that sounds like a denomination. And it is. It's the way. It's mentioned as, in the text we see it written as a follower of the way. Well, what was the way? What was their name, if they had a name? Well, the Nazarene. We were prophesied in Yirmiyahu, chapter 31. And it's chapter 24 of Acts. Acts 24, specifically verse 5. Tertullus was this lawyer, or kind of a sophist dude, that was sent to speak to Felix about this guy, Paul. And Paul was able to defend himself, and you should read all of chapter 24 and listen to what Paul says. He says, hey, I was not causing any arguments. I wasn't debating anything with anyone. When he was arrested, but they just didn't like him because they were after him. But Tertullus was this lawyer, and he was speaking to Felix, and he called him a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarene. And the prophecy was actually identifying the Nazarene from Yirmiyahu 31. Well, there's no divisions in the body of Yahusha. the prophecy didn't mention Pharisees or Sadducees or any other, group. The people that lived down there at Qumran. He never mentioned that in prophecy. The Nazarene were mentioned in prophecy. A ringleader of the sect of the Nazarene. That's at Acts 24:5. Well, was there a circus somewhere? See, Tertullus was obviously identifying these sects or these denominations as some kind of circus, And they've got animals for the circus now. The donkey over in wherever that place is in Italy. Well, we were prophesied to arise in the last days. And we were also in the early days of Yahusha when he selected Nazarene, his first Nazarene. Well, we're his last Nazarene. And we're here saying things that they don't jive with our surroundings because we're obeying the commandments of Yahuwah and we're holding to the testimony of Yahusha. The circuses don't even know his name and they're teaching against obedience. So how does obedience, how can you please him by believing something that the demons also believe and yet not obey? How can you do that? Your obedience doesn't earn you anything. But we were prophesied. And Yahusha's true pupils are, and always have been, the Nazarene. And we were considered heretics by the teaching authorities all through time. Because we guard the commandments of Yahuwah. And we hold to the testimony of Yahusha. And if you watch closely slow down and read these slowly. Revelation 12, verse 17, and Revelation 22, verse 14. The commandments are not grievous, and they're not a problem. They're actually the thing that are evidence that you are a pupil of Yahusha, and you belong to him. You're sealed. We're of one mind. The Nazarene think of one mind. We're of one opinion with our teacher, Yahusha. When we start looking at other teachers other than Yahusha, even the Nazarene can be drawn away and start doing things that are not correct. So be careful and steadfast. And we love one another and him in unity. 1 Corinthians 1, verses 9 through 17 confirms the truth about divisions. Divisions are not allowed. This is it. 1 Corinthians 9, chapter 1, verse 9 through 17. Yahuwah is trustworthy, by whom you were called into the fellowship of his Son, Yahusha Mashiach, our Aduni. And I appeal to you, brothers, by the name of our Aduni, Yahusha Mashiach, that you all agree, and that there be no divisions among you, but that you are to be knit together in the same mind and in the same opinion. For I have been informed concerning you, my brothers, by those of the house of Chloe, that there are strifes among you. What I mean is this, that each of you says, I am of Paul, or I am of Apollos, or I am of Kepha, or I am of Mashiach. Has the Mashiach been divided? Was Paul impaled for you? Or were you immersed in the name of Paul? I thank Yahuwah that I immersed no one, not one of you, except Crispus and Gaius, that no one should say that I immersed into my own name. Now I did also immerse the household of Stephanas. For the rest, I do not know whether I immersed anyone else, for Mashiach did not send me to immerse, but to bring the Besorah. The word Besorah, that's unquote. The Besorah is the message of deliverance by the blood of Yahusha. Thanks for watching this, and let there be no divisions among you. And we'll see you in the next exciting video. Bye.